And top leaders of the world have descended on a luxury mountain lodge nestled in the foothills of the Canadian Rockies for the G7 summit. The meeting takes place amid growing tensions in the Middle East and Ukraine, as well as global economic turmoil.
What happens when your closest friend becomes your biggest threat? The US-Canada alliance is under fire, and this time, it's personal. What started as trade talk is now igniting fear, fury, and a fight for democracy itself. For years, the bond between the US and Canada was unshakable. Neighbors, partners, allies in every sense of the word. But this week, that friendship hit a breaking point. Loudly, publicly, and with the whole world watching. Donald Trump is headed to Canada for the G7 summit, but it's not a diplomatic welcome waiting for him in Ottawa. It's a wall of protest. Streets are flooded with people. Teachers, parents, small business owners chanting not against America, but against what America is becoming under Trump. And the signs say it all. No more tyrants. History remembers. These aren't political slogans, they're warnings. Emotional, urgent, and deeply personal. This isn't just about tariffs, this is about trust. Prime Minister Mark Carney, once known for calm leadership, is now taking a defiant stance. He's not shaking hands. He's drawing lines. And as the G7 begins, the summit looks less like a gathering of allies and more like a standoff. The round table has become a battlefield, and Trump isn't arriving as a guest. He's arriving as a warning shot. His administration slapped tariffs on steel, aluminum, even refrigerators, everyday items found in homes across Canada. What used to be safe from politics is now fuel for economic warfare. And when Canada asked for answers, Trump didn't negotiate. He gave an ultimatum: 2 weeks to make a deal or face unilateral action. This isn't diplomacy, it's brinkmanship. The G7 is being dragged into Trump's power game, and the Canadian people are refusing to play along. Gone are the formal smiles and polished speeches. In their place, tension, suspicion, and a growing sense that something irreversible is happening. Just outside the US Embassy in Ottawa, history is being written. Not in treaties, but in chalk, cardboard, and silent defiance. What began as economic frustration has exploded into a moral stand. Protests are no longer just political, they are deeply emotional. From Vancouver to Halifax, Canadians are holding signs that feel ripped from a different century. One simply reads, "We remember the 1930s." That's not exaggeration, that's historical trauma resurfacing. In one interview, a dual citizen fighting tears compared today's America to pre-war Germany, not over tax cuts or policy shifts, but over the rise of authoritarian power. Her fear isn't abstract, it's lived, and it's spreading. Across provinces, across demographics, the message is unified. We're not against America, we're afraid of what it's turning into. And that fear is louder than any White House talking point. It's echoing through classrooms, community centers, and factory floors. Prime Minister Carney knows it. He's not just resisting Trump's policies, he's rejecting the politics of punishment. What Trump calls deal-making, Canadians are starting to call bullying. And the numbers prove it's working. For Trump politically, but at a devastating cost. Canadian manufacturers are cutting jobs. Stores are raising prices. Entire supply chains are being disrupted, not because of market forces, but because of one man's need to dominate. Trump promised to protect American jobs, but when he targets Canada's auto industry or hikes tariffs on appliances, it's not strategy, it's theater. It's about showing the world that he can make someone else bleed even if it costs everyone more. And Canadians are no longer watching in silence. They're standing on sidewalks with handwritten signs. They're lighting up social media with one clear message: this is not normal, and we will not accept it. That resistance is growing. It's not violent, it's not chaotic, it's deliberate, controlled, powerful. The G7 was supposed to be a symbol of unity, but instead it's become a mirror, reflecting how quickly trust can fracture and how loudly people can respond when it does. While world leaders pose for photos and exchange tense handshakes, the real fallout of this trade war is playing out far from the summit, in Canadian cities, factories, and stores. Trump's tariffs have hit Canada where it hurts: steel, aluminum, autos, and even household staples. And the effects aren't theoretical anymore. Canadian manufacturers are cutting hours, pausing production, and laying off workers. Prices on everything from fridges to canned goods are rising. It's no longer a political headline, it's personal. For years, Canada and the US built one of the world's strongest trade relationships. Cross-border supply chains became seamless. Goods flowed smoothly. Jobs on both sides were tied to shared prosperity. But that stability is unraveling fast. This isn't about protecting American workers, it's about proving dominance, about showing that the White House can raise the cost of someone else's breakfast just to send a message. The message? Play by our rules or pay. And Canadians are paying. Businesses are struggling to absorb costs. Store shelves reflect the new reality. Everyday items now come with a higher price tag, and no one voted for that. Behind every tariff is a factory worker wondering if they'll have a job next month, a small business wondering if they can afford another shipment, an entire economy adjusting to chaos it didn't create. Canada asked for dialogue. Trump delivered an ultimatum: make a deal in 2 weeks or the US acts alone. That turned a summit into a standoff, and it's forcing Canada to confront a harsh truth: maybe this ally can't be trusted anymore. But this moment isn't just about economics, it's about values. And for many in Canada, this isn't just a trade dispute, it's a moral crossroads. Prime Minister Mark Carney, once known for quiet diplomacy, has become a symbol of calm resistance. He hasn't raised his voice, but he's made his position crystal clear. Canada won't be bullied. Not by anyone, not even by its closest neighbor. And Canadians are backing him, not with anger, but with purpose. Across the country, peaceful protests are growing. Outside embassies, in city centers, people are holding signs with messages that feel almost like history whispering back, "No more tyrants." We remember. Democracy matters. This isn't anti-Americanism, it's anti-authoritarianism. People aren't protesting a country, they're protesting what it's becoming. They see a leader who uses tariffs like weapons, who punishes allies, who refuses compromise. And they're saying, not here. There's a quiet power in this resistance. It's not chaos, it's not disorder. It's people standing still, firm, unshaken. The kind of protest that sends a message far beyond borders. What's happening at this G7 summit isn't just a clash of policies, it's a clash of worldviews. Trump's vision of power through pressure meets a country unwilling to bow, and the world is taking note. This summit will not be remembered for press conferences or photo ops. It will be remembered as the moment Canada said enough. As the moment when silence was broken not by politicians, but by people. Trump may return to Washington with his usual claims of victory, but outside the polished meeting rooms, history is being written in a different ink. Not by declarations, but by defiance. Not by power, but by principle. And in that moment, a quiet country reminded the world, strength doesn't always look like force. Sometimes it looks like saying no, calmly, clearly, together.